Greetings and welcome to One Spherical Love, Spirituality in a Modern World, presented by Unispherical Muse. I am an ordained Reverend of Divine Energy. A Reverend is the same thing as a priest or a preacher. It is a person of the cloth that has been chosen to follow the path of not just one God, but gods and goddesses, angels and spirit guides. The list goes on and on from the spirit realm. This is what I do. Wherever I go, it is a church. My church is teaching through guiding in spirituality, as I am a teacher, a spiritual teacher, spiritual healer, spiritual counselor. So each week I give a sermon at my church. My church is online, and the website is onespirituallove.com. Now, each week it is something different, because if it was the same old information, how could it pertain to the 22 different cultures around the world? And each culture has its own holy scriptures. Many cultures believe in many gods, goddesses, angels, spirit guides, and the list goes on and on from the spirit realm. What I'm doing is I am teaching how to guide you through the different realms in the spirit realm. Now, when you see that you have all of a sudden received an illness, sickness, and disease, do you say to yourself subconsciously, I am my disease? That means now you own it. It is part of you. Now, with that said, being that it's a part of you, do you dwell in that moment of energy? And the energy that you send out and the energy you receive, that's called ions. And of course, you learn about ions in high school biology. Now, when I'm giving a sermon, do I dwell upon the same holy scripture every week? Really? Let's just talk Boredom City? I don't think so. That's why I'm an alternative doctor. You go anywhere around the world, an alternative doctor would be the same as a guru, the same as a shaman, shawoman, and the list goes on and on and on when you venture out into the rest of the world. When you live within your own mind, you dwell upon the experiences that you have had in your lifetime. Remember, each thought you have turns into an emotion that you've attached to that experience that you have received. Now, with all the experiences I received in life, would I attach an emotion saying, Oh, I had this kind of cancer. Oh, that's who I am. That's how I live my life. Bore me. No. Put a positive twist on a negative. That means that, does that cancer own me? Or do I own that cancer? Who's in charge? Who's large and who's in charge and who's in control? That cancer or you? Seriously. To dwell is to keep thinking about something. You keep thinking about it, guess what? That experience will come to you. That's called karma, baby. Hi. Is that really what you desire in life? To keep collecting those kind of experiences? Oh my goodness. Well, I tell you what, I'm pointing at a wall and saying, there's the door. Go on out. When you're ready to have some fun, come on back and we'll go have some fun. It's called life. Why in the world would I want to dwell upon something? I have a boo-boo. I'm 2 years old. Wah, okay? Throughout life, you're gonna get experiences. It is the emotion you attach to that experience will create the memories that go into your subconscious. And as the years float by, something will trigger that thought process again. All of a sudden, you're reliving that experience, you're reliving that emotion, you're dwelling in that moment in time again. Guess what? That means that you are saying, oh, yeah, I was there. I want to feel that pain again. Why would you do that to yourself? How does that make any sense whatsoever? Guess what? I learned a long time ago. It's called emotional maturity. A long time ago, you will always get recommendations from, as I always say, everybody and his brother will tell you to do this, that, and the other. And if their life was so perfect, how can they dish out information saying do this or that? If their life was so perfect, they wouldn't need to be dishing out because they would actually be living it. Because when you dish it out, you're just talking the talk. If you're actually living it, you're walking the walk. And trust me, I would follow someone that is doing walking the walk, not talking the talk. Anyone can blow out a bunch of hot air out of their mouth. But someone to actually experience it and conquer it, hey, those are my kind of people, not the whiners. Now, when something happens in life, how am I going to get through that bad? You have to put a positive twist on a negative. Well, how do you do that? Pretty simple. The rule of thumb is cry, and cry some more, and cry some more until you can't cry no more. And guess what? Cry some more. You just keep going until you can't cry anymore. Now, that could take hours, days, months, weeks, years, whatever, till eventually that experience keeps popping up and you don't cry about it anymore. Why? Because it's out of your system. Now, while I'm crying, am I just going to sit there and wow and just let time float by and I have nothing to show for that time? I think not. I will then get a piece of paper and I will start writing down my emotions. Write on there everything that's coming in your head. You write it down, or you paint a picture. You write a poem. You turn up the music, and you sing to the top of your lungs. You get that information, anxiety, anger, depression, whatever emotion you're going through, get it out. Give it a purpose. Give it a direction. until eventually it's all out of your system. Then when that experience comes up again, then you can look back and say, look what a masterpiece I created. Let's see. One of my future projects will be when I'm making my fairy garden. So if I'm having a really bad day, I can look at the fairies, okay? And the fairies are, say, wood carvings, because you're going to carve it out of wood. Yeah, you're going to create a beautiful project from what it is the experience gave you an emotion that you thought was important at the time. So you create this fairy, and it's going to be made out of wood or styrofoam, whatever you deem seems fitting. Now with the styrofoam, I don't know, maybe magic marker, paint some happy face on it and clothes and all that kind of good jazz. I mean, whatever makes it look like the happy moments in time, because you're putting a positive twist on a negative. All right, so you learn how to whittle. And you get I'm sure there's a particular tool, and you whittle a little piece of wood, and you make little, rocking horses, or you make little doll furniture. I mean, that's like super awesome to create. Back in the day, ships, and they put them together inside these bottles. I mean, dude, just open your mind. Be creative. You're just going to start, weaving a blanket, make some macrame, whatever. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the store once a month. All right? I have years of collecting little odds and ends from the craft store. You got Joann's and Michael's, and then Hobby Lobby popped up, and you have all these different craft stores. So when I'm in there and say I have like maybe 30 different patterns to sew children clothes and women's clothes and men's clothes, and so I collect this stuff over the years, so that when the time is right, I can start making clothing. I want to make some designer clothing to go with my fractal animals, kind of like the way that Walt Disney did with his Mickey and Minnie Mouse and whatnot. That is my future projects, to bring my children's book, Art Realm, to life. And that's always, I have many, many projects when many events happen in life that I think at the time, this is a catastrophe. My world is falling apart. What am I going to do? I grab something and I start creating. So when I'm done crying about it, all of a sudden I have a product. I have a painting. I have a book. I have a song. I have music. I have everything. And then all of a sudden, you've got a boatload of all these crafts that you've made. Then you put them together, and guess what? This creates the heart smiles and the belly laughs. Because as the years roll by, you look back at that experience you thought was so drama. Trauma is a cold, a death, whatever experience comes up in life. Drama is the emotion you attach to it. So whatever drama happened in your life, wow, you now have a beautiful creation that came out of the ethers. Just like a plant seed goes into the dark and it gets watered, it creates roots, and all of a sudden it creates greenery that comes up, and then you have wow, a palm tree, a daisy, a rose, natal plum, I mean, whatever. Life happens in the dark. And that's what happens to your emotion. When you have a product to show for your emotion, that emotion becomes beautiful because you just put a positive twist on a negative. Keep in mind, every week, my sermon is something different. How to change the negative into a positive, because you are creating the ionic energy, letting it float in you and letting it float back out you. Let it go, let it flow. Let it go, let it flow. And then, hey, you just bust a move and bust a tune, and there you go. And then you go, let it go, let it flow, let it go, let it flow. Comprende, mijo, comprende, mijo. And that means little boy and little girl. You're allowed to let the inner child come out and play. So while the adult you is sobbing and your tissues and your pillows are getting all wet from the tears, you're letting the inner child come out and have a purpose, be creative, and it's creating wonderful, magical world of pictures and music and books and dancing, and your inner child will be super stupendously happy. And Mary Poppins says, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Hey, hey, hey. All right. Life is love. Love is life. Blessings from Reverend Dr. Juanita Lewis, DDIV, PhD. And thank you for your support.